Hey guys, this is Derek with Tap and Turn Gaming coming at you today with an EDH deck tech. Today's deck tech will be for the Mono Blue General, Azami Lady of Scrolls. She is from the Kamigawa set, or Kamigawa block. She is a 5-cost 0/2 wizard, human wizard, and she has a really cool ability where you can tap and untap wizard you control to be able to draw a card. Big time combo general, great for just gaining advantage. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with this deck, and that's what we're hoping to do with it. So to make things a little different, what we're going to do with this deck tech is break it up into sort of two parts. Part one, we're going to break the cards down in a list of type by type, so instant, sorceries, artifacts, yada yada yada. Then we're going to go over the deck again a second time and categorize the deck as how it functions for the deck. So right now we're going to cut over to our tapped out deck list, and you'll be able to see the deck list broken down by card type. Alright guys, now we're just going to go over the deck list. So we're going to start with the instants. We are running Aether Eyes, Aether Spouts, Cancel, Capsize, Counterspell, Cyclonic Rift, Dissipate, Echoing Truth, Fairy Trickery, Ghostly Flicker, Pongify, Rapid Hybridization, Reality Shift, Scour from Existence, Supplant Form, and Void Shatter. For our lands, it's very basic. Academy Ruins, Halimar Depth, Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, Reliquary Tower, Riptide Laboratory, 32 snow-covered islands, and 1 Thespian Stage. For our artifacts, we are running Ashnod's Altar, Cage Sun, Diviner's Wand, Extraplanar Lens, Illusionist Bracers, Nim Deathmantle, Riptide Replicator, and Temple Bell. Our enchantments are Dismiss into Dream, Dream Halls, Intruder Alarm, Mind Over Matter, and Opposition. For our sorceries, we're running just 2, Curse of the Swine, and Stolen Identity. And then for creatures, which is the bulk of the deck, we are running Apheto Grifter, Arcanith the Omnipotent, Archaeomancer, Archetype of Imagination, Clever Impersonator, Deadeye Navigator, Echo Mage, Hydar Rhymewind Master, Laboratory Maniac, Low Mage Mentor, Lunar Mystic, Master of Waves, Moloku the Clouded Mirror, Memnarch, Patron Wizard, Phyrexian Metamorph, Rhymewind Cryomancer, Riptide Director, Scrivener, Sigil Tracer, Stonybrook Banneret, Supreme Inquisitor, Tauren Sky Summoner, Teferi Mage of Zalfir, Temporal Adept, Veldelkin Aether Mage, Veldelkin Anatomist, Venser Shaper Savant, Void Mage Husher, and Void Wielder. So now hold on for 1 second. We're going to go back to the actual physical deck and check out how we categorize the cards and what purpose they serve in the deck. Alright guys, so now we're back from that. We're going to go over how the deck functions for us by style of the card, be it removal or advantage or tech, versus it just being basic a type that it is. So we're going to move her off to the side here, and we're going to take a look at our lands. So what we're going to do first is just take out all of our basics, because they just serve as our basic lands. Now the reason we're running the snow-covered basics is because of our extraplanar lens. When we extraplanar lens one of these snow-covered ones, only snow-covered islands will tap for 2 versus all islands, and that's a big deal. And also there's a couple snow wizards that we run, and they have pretty cool abilities. But then we run Academy Ruins so that we can get back our artifacts from our graveyard. Riptide Replicator to be able to bounce a wizard. Halimar Depths to be able to rearrange our top 3. Reliquary Tower for an unlimited hand size. Nykthos Shrine to Nyx for that great big mana. And Thespian Stage to be able to call copy a land. It's just a cheaper version of having out Vesuva, which is sort of an expensive land. But the lands are pretty much just, the lands. That's what they are. So now we're going to take a look at our Mana Ramp package. So for Mana Ramp package, we are running Cage Sun, Extraplanar Lens, and Ashnod's Altar. And this is an example of what I mean is we're breaking down the cards by how they function for the deck versus what they actually do. Now some people see this as a sack outlet, some people see it as a mana ramp. For the purpose of this deck, I am using it as mana ramp mostly, and avoidance of exile removal as a secondary. The reason I'm not running like a Darksteel Ingot or a Soul Ring is because a lot of the stuff in this deck is pretty cheap to cast, so it's not as necessary. Now we're going to take a look at our removal. Now again, you're going to see some creatures in here, some artifacts in here. These are all things that for us function as removal. So we have Pongify, Rapid Hybridization, Curse of the Swine, Reality Shift, Cyclonic Rift, Echoing Truth, Counterspell, Lowell Mage Mentor, and this is a good example of what I mean by something that was using as a different type of use. Seeing as he is a creature, but he can let us tap creatures to counter spells, he is a form of removal for us, and that's why he's in here. Patron Wizard, same thing. Temporal Adept lets us bounce any permanent, so for us he is a form of removal. Velducan Anatomist. I like this guy as a form of removal and sort of denial because we can put a -1 encounter on a creature and then tap it or untap it. So if need be, we can untap one of our guys if we just need to do something, or we can tap down one of the guys and sort of whittle them away till eventually they're just nothing and dying. Capsize, some nice bounce, functions as removal. Cancel, Fairy Trickery, Void Shatter, Dissipate. We have Rhymewind Cryomancer. She's another one. She lets us counter an activated ability. So for us, that is functioning as some sort of removal. Then we have Void Mage Husher. Again, countering an ability. Functions for us as removal. We have Venser Shaper Savant. I mean, this guy's just a monster. Being able to pseudo counter a spell or bounce a permanent, he's really just awesome. Then we have Aether Eyes, Hydar Rhymewind Master. This is another one of the reasons why we're running the Snow Islands, is because this guy needs to have at least 4 snow permanents down to activate. But you can return a permanent to their owner's hand, and it's just really cool because blue obviously doesn't have a lot of ways to deal with things once they're on the ground. So this is a really good way to do that. And then we have Supreme Inquisitor. This guy's nice because we can tap 5 wizards tap 5 untap wizards to be able to exile 5 cards from an opponent's library. So when you get down like 10, 15 wizards and you're just ripping out 15 cards a time out of their deck, it really makes a big difference very, very quickly. Then we have Void Wielder, just some more sort of removal for us. Aether Spouts, Supplement Form. I really have grown fond of this spell, being able to bounce our opponent's creature and we get a copy of that. It's really good as a combat trick where they attack and then you go ahead and bounce the creature and then get the token to block with a different creature. It's really pretty fun. Dismiss into Dream. I think this is a really underrated card. It makes it so all of our opponent's creatures, all we need to do is tap something, all we have to do is target the opponent's creatures and they die immediately. So this functions for us as removal and a pseudo combo piece, but more so as removal, where we can tap a wizard we control to, using opposition, tap a wizard we control to tap one of the creatures, and instead it just dies. It's really a pretty cool card. Even though it does cost 7 mana, it's just late game. It's a good way to just finish things off and even out a board. And then Scour from Existence. It's nice to just be able to get rid of that problem permanent and just get it gone. So yeah, that's more or less our removal package. Like I said, as you can see, there was some enchantments in there, some creatures, some spells. It's just things that for us function as removal. Then we have things that for us function as tech kind of spells. So first up we have Velducan Aether Mage because it has the wizard cycling. Stony Brook Banneret makes our guys a little cheaper. Affetto Grifter lets us tap things. He'll work well with Dismiss into Dream. Sigil Tracer lets us copy our spells. Echo Mage lets us copy our spells. Ghostly Flicker lets us flicker 2 things. Archaeomancer can get things back. Clever Impersonator will copy anything. Lunar Mystic is going to let us draw extra cards as we cast instants. Phyrexian Metamorph will copy anything. Well, sorry, artifacts and creatures, not anything. He's not as good as Clever Impersonator, but he's still pretty damn good. Tower in the Sky Summer is going to spit out guys for us every single time we cast a spell. Sorry, Sorcerer and Instant, not just a spell. Riptide Director is going to let us draw a bunch of cards. Opposition is a perfect example of some things that are some techie spells for us. This is going to let us tap an untapped creature we control to be able to tap target artifact, creature, or land. So it's really nice, really nice. We're generally going to be using this to tap down creatures because blue usually doesn't have a lot of ways to deal with an onslaught of creatures. So this is going to let us tap down the big boys, and in conjunction with this and Dismiss into Dream, it just becomes a nice little kill spell combo. We have Riptide Replicator, which will let us produce tokens of whatever type we choose. So the way this works is you pay it for 4, then you invest whatever you want into X, and then once it's on the board, it gets X charge counters where whatever you paid for X, so let's say it was 2. So you have 2 charge counters on there. You pick a color, say blue, pick a creature type, say wizards, and then you can tap it in 4, and you will get a token equal to the color and creature type and charge counter you have. So for instance, if we picked blue and wizard and 2 charge counters, we're going to get a 2/2 wizard. So it's just a way to spit out tokens that match what we need. Moloku is going to produce some tokens for us. Scriven is going to get back our spells. Teferi gives all of our guys flash, which is really fun. Also protects our turn because our opponents can't play instants or sorceries on our turn, and they can only play spells at sorcerer speed on their turn, so it's really just a nasty card to have out. Then we have Stolen Identity. This card's really good. It's a nice spell that copies a creature or an artifact for you. Then you can cipher it under one of your creatures, and every time they deal combat damage, you get to copy it and do it again. Really pretty fun. Deadeye Navigator. He kind of is a combo piece, but I don't have any way to really abuse him. So he's in with the tech cards where he can just flicker a guy over and over again to use his ability over and over again. You put him on like a Venser or I don't know, really anybody, and he's just going to go bananas. He's probably going to get banned eventually because of how good he is. Arcanus the Omnipotent will let us just draw a bunch of cards. Archetype of Imagination will give all of our guys flying and all of our opponent's creatures lose flying, so this is just awesome. And Memnarch. 7-cost wizard that when in doubt, just steal all their stuff. For 7 mana, you can steal anything. For 4 mana, you can steal an artifact. Because the way it works is you pay the 3 to make something an artifact, and then you can steal it after for 4. So for 7 mana, you can just steal anything. Really great wizard. So that rounds out all of my techie stuff. The last little group here is my combo pieces. So my combo pieces here are my Illusionist Bracers, which is going to let me use Azami's ability twice every time it's on her. Nim Deathmantle functions as a combo piece and just a general sort of res piece for me, but this is part of an infinite mana combo. Then we have Intruder Alarm, so whenever a creature comes into play, untap all creatures. So what this is going to let me do is tap all my wizards with Azami, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a buttload of cards, cast 1 wizard, they're all going to untap, I'm going to tap them all over again to draw a bunch more cards. Then we have Laboratory Maniac, and this is what I'm going to do with all the cards I've drawn, is eventually draw out my library and hopefully win. Then we have Master of Waves. He functions as a tech thing as well, but he mostly functions as a combo piece because if we have down at least one other card with a blue mana symbol, then he's going to produce at least 2 tokens. We're going to cast him, get 2 tokens, sacrifice a token to the Ashnod's Altar for 2 mana, then sacrifice him to Ashnod's Altar for 2 mana, so we have 4 mana floating. We're going to use that 4 mana floating in conjunction with the Nim Deathmantle to res him. He's going to come back in, and as long as we have 2 Devotion to Blue, every single time we do that, we're netting a creature. Now the purpose of netting a creature is if instead we sacrifice 2 creatures and then him, we're netting 2 colorless mana every time. So we can generate infinite colorless mana or an infinite number of creatures, and it's just really, from that point on, you just go crazy. And he also happens to be a Merfolk Wizard, so what we can do is we can sacrifice his token, get 2 mana, sacrifice him, get 2 mana. Oh, sorry, before we sacrifice him, we tap him to draw a card, sacrifice him to get the 2 mana, now we have the 4 mana floating, we res him, then we'll get the same amount of creatures again, so we'll sack the token, tap him to draw a card, yada yada yada. Rinse and repeat, infinite draw as well. Temple Bell functions as a nice little spell. We can tap it and everyone draws a card, and it functions as a combo piece with something I'll go over in just a moment. Diviner's Wand is great. Every time we draw a card, the equipped creature gets +1/+1 and flying, which is very nice anyways. But where this functions as a combo piece is for 4 mana we can just draw a card. So once we have our infinite mana combo going, I can draw as many cards as I want to either draw out my deck to win if I had Laboratory Maniac down, or if I don't have Laboratory Maniac down, I can make a creature as big as I want, attack, swing for lethal. We have Dream Halls. Dream Halls is really fun because it lets me discard a card to cast a card for free that shares a color type with it. So if I discard a blue card, I can cast a blue card. If I discard a red card, I can cast a red card. Basically just functions as a way for us to, in conjunction with Intruder Alarm, is we want to tap all of our guys to draw a bunch of cards, discard a blue card to cast a wizard. When we cast that wizard, because of Intruder Alarm, all of our guys are going to untap, we're going to draw a bunch of cards. We're going to discard a card to cast another creature, untap because of Intruder Alarm. You can see where that's going. And then finally we have Mind Over Matter. Mind Over Matter lets me discard a card to tap or untap target artifact, creature, or land. So basically these two function as their own combo right here, where I tap this, everybody draws a card, discard the card I drew to untap it, tap it again so everybody draws a card. So I can, in essence, force every other player to deck out if need be. And that's pretty fun. So this has been my Azami Lady of Scrolls deck. As you could see, we did the first part was just the deck list. Second part, I broke it down a little bit for you and told you sort of how each card functions for my deck and how I categorized it into the deck versus just it being a creature or it being an artifact and so on and so forth. I hope you enjoy this sort of the way we went about it. We're just looking for some feedback, and if you like the style of this deck tech, or if you like the traditional deck tech where we just go over the list. We're just trying to spice things up, keep it new, keep it fresh. So let us know what you think. Let me know what you think about the deck and or the style of this deck tech. This has been Derek with Tap and Turn Gaming. We will catch you all later. Please like, comment, and subscribe.